So for any family businesses that have never really gotten involved in HRIA or come to these conventions, what do you say to them?
What have you been doing for the last 10 years? You've got to get to one of these conventions. Become a member of the HRIA Association. They are so caring about your business. Making sure that you've got all your policies and procedures in place, that you're, giving the customers, the Australian public, the best service and the best equipment out there.
Now, because last year was the year that it was, this wasn't a thing. Can you feel like a general sense of excitement about this being a thing this year?
I think the easiest way to would answer that is when we had the opening drinks last night, they ran out of beer. So to me that says everyone was excited and they still had about an hour and a half to go. So,
right.
It was very well attended and everyone was in very good spirits.
This is great. This is the year back. We're back.
Oh, it's so exciting. It's like nothing. It never stopped. Like there hasn't been a pause. Yeah, everybody's so excited to be here and happy to see each other and reconnect again. So it's fantastic.
Now you've been doing a lot of organising, obviously, in the lead up to it. Have you felt like a lot of excitement from people, particularly the exhibitors?
We have, because we had to cancel last year, and with all the constant uncertainty that we've been facing in the last year, we had no idea if it was going to happen, if people would want to do it, but they've really wanted to do it. So everybody's so enthusiastic and a lot of hugging happening. So it's fantastic to see everybody again.
It's great to be here, isn't it?
It's amazing, especially after the year that our industry or everyone's had. It's so nice to be able to actually see people face to face rather than over Zoom.
Sometimes the same company with their interstate colleagues, they haven't even seen each other. So by putting this event on, business is performing well, and the desire to connect after a long time apart, that sort of seems to have come to a culmination of everything aligning, and we got that little gap in the clouds with COVID to have the event.
Is there like a reinvigoration after last year?
Definitely. I think for having that year off, and there's so many people that we generally get together on an annual basis, and namely this event, you get together with all these people you only see. You might have contact with them during the year, but to actually have a drink with them and actually socialize with them on a face-to-face basis probably only happens at once a year, really. So having that gap last year, I guess, has really made everyone look forward to this year, and I think there's a lot of energy in the room around how people are feeling.
There's a lot going on. We've spoken to some people who have been really keen to have a look at, get hands-on with new equipment, because obviously that wasn't something they could do last year.
That's right. And with last year, we had to move to an online format, so you really can't get your hands on the equipment. So in effect, it's been 24 months between conventions. And that's quite a long time in technology circles where things change and there's innovation and products have been developed completely or modified, or there's new systems in place using different technology. So there's a lot to see 24 months after our Melbourne show, and that's really showing this time. There's a lot of good conversations on the show floor, and the exhibitors I think are very happy so far. We're partway through day one, and it's really good to see.
Jason Legear's here from Hotline IT. How are you doing?
I'm doing really well, thanks.
How big a change between 2019 and 2021 have you noticed?
That's an interesting question. So, in fact, I was saying to someone before, I feel very comfortable that this is quite normal. And so there's actually not been a massive change. I think that we're much more aware about things like space, and we're much more aware about the way we interact, but we're still interacting. If you look at a stand, it's still full of people. They're still having conversations with each other. They're still hugging, which I think is really important for us. I think that we're social creatures, and we need to network. We need to talk to each other.
And that's a really important thing about the hire industry and HRIA is that it's not just coming in and checking out the new equipment, but it's also reconnecting with people.
Yeah, very much so. It's the hire industry is a service-based industry, so they found a problem and they solved it with service. And what some of the sayings I love is, you don't rent a machine, you sell a hole. And so you're selling an outcome via that method, and I really like that concept, but you're really solving problems for people, very much service related. And so it attracts people who are that mindset, are that service, helpful, solution kind of mindset. And I think that those people need to talk problems. They need to network, talk about solutions, how we're going to do this, how we're going to do that. That bit of gear is really cool. They really need that in this industry.
What have you seen changing in the conferences as the years go by?
I think the participation with some of the, obviously the suppliers and stuff coming here is really good. There's a lot, I think it's grown a lot in the last, from what I remember. And I think, you see all the new technology these exhibitors bringing in, which is always amazing to see what they're bringing in, what they're doing and how they're doing it. So it's, I think that's a really good part of from the show. I think it's great.
It's great, isn't it? We're just about to open up. Everything's about to happen. You're an exhibitor here. In fact, we can see your store from just here.
I know a lot of people here are pretty excited about that. We've got some of the guys that work for us in the States. They go to these shows and they're just like cruising around and they know all the specs of the machines.
Do you find yourself wandering through saying, gosh, I haven't seen that before?
Oh, totally. And especially when you work in the higher industry, there's so many different bits of equipment that you get to play with and kind of have your hands on in some way or shape or form. So when you get to come to an event like this and you see things that you haven't seen before, or you just go, I didn't even realize that existed, it just opens your mind, and it's really kind of neat.
There's a lot of people expected to be here. I assume you're hoping to see a lot of them come by your exhibit here.
We do Finley socks, bamboo socks. So that's been a thing. We already had a few people come past the stand and ask for their pair of socks. So if I was selling shoes, I'd be retired, but they're our thing. So we do get a lot of foot traffic, so to speak, because of our socks. So
Wait, how famous are these socks? How long have they been a thing for?
I think there's about 7 different people in our group now that claim they introduced it, but I'd say we've been doing the socks for the best part of 6-7 years, and we don't hand out pens, we hand out our bamboo socks. And
right.
I think the last shipment was literally 10,000 pairs, so we give out a lot of socks. After kids at my son's school, the boys are all wearing our fiddly socks, and they're a thing. No one else does them, and drinks last night. Drinks tonight. There'll be people who just come up, tap me on the shoulder and lift up their trousers, and there's the Finley socks. So it's a good gimmick, but that's our thing.
It works.
It does work.
Please tell me you've managed to snag a pair for yourself.
Oh,
There they are. Go on, show us. Come on.
There we go.
Finley. They're classy. They're black. They're
bamboo.
They're bamboo. What more could you want from them? It's not just coming along and exhibiting, but it's also connecting with people.
It's all about the connection. Yes, as an exhibitor, you're here to show product and hopefully sell some. So, if anyone wants to buy some product, happy to sell them. But it's really about getting to see people. There's a lot of places that you just can't get to, or even bringing the big groups of people together. And I think that's what it's really about.
So I'm assuming that's why you guys are associated with HRIA.
Yeah, we think it's it's obviously a great opportunity for us to showcase what we do, talk to our customers, meet with prospects, but it's also really great to be able to support the industry. Last year was a tough year with the show being cancelled. We're all ready to go for that, and we're delighted that we can be getting back together with everyone.
How many hires have you been to over the years?
I actually said this to my wife yesterday as I was packing my bag and to roll out the door. This is, I think, number 17.
Yeah, really?
Yeah, so I previously, this is my 11th year with Haul It, and I was 7 years with Jeannie before I came to Haul It. So it all kind of feels a little bit like Groundhog Day, but it's still as exciting as the first time. And unfortunately, a lot of the social event happens in the bar. But walking into the bar last night, and especially having a year off last year and not seeing a lot of those faces was really nice. It's like a long lost cousin or something that you haven't seen in a long time, and a lot of warm embraces and with people that you've worked alongside with for many, many years.
That face-to-face meeting is super important, and there's already that layer of trust.
This is an industry that looks after itself, and it wants to grow. It wants to grow rental, and so talking about common problems is really important, and I find a lot of the businesses actually do have the same challenges.
So how important is it for Finleys to be at these conventions?
again, we're involved with a lot of industries, and when you get established and get a reputation within the industry, you run the risk that if you don't exhibit and you've been consistently exhibiting, it asks questions in itself. So for an industry like this, yeah, it's a no-brainer. We'll always be here with a stand. So it's important to us to have visibility. It's also important for us to support the industries that we're involved in. It's quite easy, I guess, just to sort of chip away at the sides. But if you're invested and you're involved, again, some of the larger suppliers here, we were even talking last night, that's one of the things that they, I guess, like about Thinlease is that we're very visible and we're here engaging with support, sometimes involved with sponsorships as well. So yeah, we'd like to be invested in who we're dealing with.
Well, it sounds like you're going to be very busy, not just giving away socks, but having a chat with people that you know, and also some new faces as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And a lot of it's just probably the seed, usually next 2 days for new relationships. Very rare someone will actually walk up to our stand and say, I want to spend X dollars, what can you do for me? We'll have a chat, but generally it's after the event. And again, for a lot of the exhibitors here, they'll have conversations with their clients, but a lot of the deals will be closed after the event.